Okay, the AmigaOS 4 hardware versus emulation survey is over. So let's have a look at the results. Thank you to all 447 people who took the time to fill in the survey. It's much appreciated. Let's have a look at what people said. And the first thing that surprised me the most is that roughly a quarter of people who took the time to fill in the survey don't actually use OS 4 regularly or at all, yet they were interested enough to fill in the survey. So there are some potential new users in there, I think, and hopefully some developers as well. Although if you look at the follow-up question, let me scroll down to it, not an Amiga user, you'll notice that some people are behaving more like train wreck spectators. So they're not interested in getting involved at all. And some have pretty hefty demands. Right? So big things that need to be done before they will step in, get their feet wet in the AmigaOS 4 world. But amongst them, there are definitely people who, given the right opportunity, or if we can deliver what they want, would be interested in using AmigaOS 4. It's not surprising that most people who are AmigaOS 4 users would have physical PowerPC hardware, not being running it under emulation. And that number is even larger if you look at if you add the nearly 10% of respondents who use both hardware and emulation, which is something I found interesting. I was initially thinking, why would you use emulation when you got the real deal? There are reasons, I'll get into them later. And it's quite nice to see nearly 20% of people responding using emulation alone. That does say that for some people, the emulation, running it under emulation is enough. Let's dig into those with physical PowerPC hardware. So not too surprising, the majority, nearly, I'd say roughly 2/3, have never tried emulation at all. Not surprising, most are just not interested in emulation. Why would you be when you've got the real deal, you've got the physical hardware? Beyond that, there are some who just found the emulation too hard to set up, and some know that it's slow and have heard about bugs and that sort of thing. So not surprising at all. And let's have a look at the people who responded who are emulation users. You'll see here UAE in all its variants is absolutely dominating. I guess it's not too surprising considering that QEMU has only more recently become usable as an emulator. Although if you look here, there are some who use both UAE and QEMU, so that group is slightly bigger than it initially looks like. The overall user experience that people are reporting goes across the entire range, from people who thought it was absolutely horrible to people who thought it was great, with most people saying, could be better. Now, this question is where we get an idea of why people are running the emulator. So you can sort of divide it up into broad categories of those who want to use AmigaOS 4 on the go on their laptop. You do have some people, and this is one of the reasons why somebody with hardware might want to use it as well. This one's using it to record videos, so they don't have an HDMI capture card, but this allows them to record videos of AmigaOS 4 running. You got this guy here who's using this part of their software development to test the software. So me, I like to compile the code on my laptop and then use Z2FTP server to send it across to my real hardware. But this guy has found that it's quite easy and quite useful to fire up the emulator on the same machine and test it out. And then you've got another group who want a low cost of entry. So they're not ready to shell out a lot of money for physical AmigaOS hardware, or maybe they don't have the disk space for it. Either way, price was another pretty common reason that they are using AmigaOS 4 under emulation. And there is some, you see here another one saying laptop, another one saying inexpensive. So that's broadly, those are the reasons why. Now, in terms of experience, the user experience, I'm not surprised with these results at all. So the most common ones are things like it's slow, it's crash prone, slow, installation's hard. This is a bit more specific. And it's true as well that there's difficulty copying files between the host operating system and the emulated Amiga. No 3D. Graphics drivers are slow, need better graphics. And those are the broad categories of things that people complained about. So these are all areas of potential improvement and things that would make AmigaOS 4 under emulation a better deal, more interesting to more people. Now the final question I asked, I just asked people to give whatever comment they wanted, and they really range across the board from people who have nothing to say, people who want to tell me that it's all pointless and we should all give up, to people telling me they want Raspberry Pi ports or this or that. As I say, all sorts of things. You'll be able to read these on my website directly. There'll be a link below this video, and that'll allow you to look at the results yourself, dig into them, and see what you can find.